Next tonight, a man from Southwell has run a 10-mile race only a year after suffering a heart attack and was greeted at the finish line by the medic who helped save his life. Roland Malkin completed the run at Thoresby last month after being given the all-clear by doctors. He was reunited with community first responder Malcolm Kirk, who was first on the scene when he collapsed last September. Roland and Malcolm are here with me now. Wonderful to see you. That's an understatement, Roland, I think. What a story. I mean, you probably have little recollection of the day that it happened, that you had a cardiac arrest in your home. Is that right?
I know very little about it, about sitting on a sofa about 10:15 at night. Next thing I know, 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm waking up in a hospital bed, trying to work out what's happened.
And your wife's by your side and is probably explaining what on earth has just happened to you.
Yes, she was.
Malcolm is here, who is the man who saved your life, essentially, with one of these. So you are working in Southwell, you're a first responder. So
Community first responder.
And you've called on up to 90 calls you've done in the last year, is that right?
Year, yes.
That's phenomenal. And how often do you use that piece of equipment?
Very few times the actual life pack.
So take me to the time when you responded to Roland's call to that 999.
I got the call from the ambulance service at the same time as they called the ambulance, and I got round to Roland about 4 minutes after.
Okay.
And his wife, Sarah, who at that time was the kingpin, was giving Roland CPR.
Do you think that was an essential part of keeping
essential,
Roland?
That allows extra time for my machine to work.
So essentially, Roland had lost consciousness, he'd had a cardiac arrest, he was dead to all intents and purposes.
Very much so.
So without his wife and without you, you're not going to be here. But I want you to take me onwards in the story, because amazing, we just heard you have run a 10K run only a year afterwards. So tell me about the cardiac group that you're part of, these athletes.
Yeah, in recovery, you sort of introduced a rehabilitation scheme. It's an 8-week course, teaches you to eat properly, de-stress yourself, do physical exercise. And they recommend 150 minutes of moderately intense exercise per week.
Yeah.
And for me, I'd been running before, and that's really what I knew I could maintain and keep.
So you were a runner before you'd had a heart attack?
A little bit. For about 5 years ago, I'd sort of fallen into that, just to keep fit. Clearly it kept me fit, but health-wise, maybe there was something hidden underneath it. So I wanted to get back to that. Through the rehab, they tell you to take it slowly, get yourself back, but don't overstretch yourself. And during that period, I read a book called Cardiac Athletes, which is a book about and by people that have been through very similar heart troubles that have got back to some form of running. And that message is take it slowly and get better. But
you can get fit and you can get well. Roland
Yes.
and Malcolm, for now, thank you very much. Do stay with us, though, for the next show. We'll talk to you more then.
Thank you.
Next, the winter months can be a lonely time for some elderly people. But one charity is tackling the problem by getting creative with digital media. The Armchair Project has been set up